All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're talking about a massive shift today and how we think about AI in the business world. For the longest time, right, the whole conversation has been entirely focused on chatbots. A chatbot giving a bad answer, hallucinating a weird fact, or maybe drafting an email that just sounds kind of off. But here's the thing. As we move from generative AI to agentic AI, the entire landscape is changing. We really need to shift our focus to a much, much greater danger. And that's the danger of an agent actually doing something wrong, completely unseen. So, Section 1, the new action risk. To really wrap our heads around this, we first need to establish a super clear boundary between visible content errors and invisible executing actions. Think about it like this. A chatbot can absolutely say the wrong thing, and yeah, for sure, that carries real risk. It can be copied, forwarded, maybe someone acts on it, but that error is visible the exact moment someone reads it. An agent, on the other hand, operates independently. It can act on a wrong conclusion and create real-world consequences that just go flying through your systems before anyone even has a chance to review it. It's already updated a customer record, sent a message out to a client, or worse, triggered a downstream billing process. The action has already happened. So the only question left is, can your business see that action clearly enough to respond? Which brings us to Section 2, the agentic governance gap. Let's look at the data to see just how completely unprepared the market actually is for this massive shift in risk. According to the Deloitte 2026 State of AI survey, and they gathered insights from over 3,200 global leaders, by the way, only 21% of organizations actually have a mature governance model in place for these autonomous agents. Just 21%. That means nearly 80% of enterprises out there are deploying or, planning to deploy systems that can take independent action completely without a mature framework to govern those actions. They might know what the agent is supposed to do, but they have literally no way to verify what it actually did. And that's the absolute kicker right here. Roughly 80% of organizations lack the specific traceability controls they need. We're talking about missing defined decision boundaries, lacking real-time monitoring, and having absolutely zero full action audit trails. This means this massive risk gap just sits there, completely invisible, right up until the exact moment it blows up, like when a huge customer complains or a vital downstream system just fails. It's kind of like flying a commercial jet without a black box and just crossing your fingers that you never need to check the flight data. Because by the time you do, the cost of not having that traceability is definitely no longer hypothetical. Moving right along to Section 3, 3 failures of traceability. Let's break down this abstract problem into the 3 concrete, operational failures that happen when an agent is left untraceable. So here are the 3 core failures we see when traceability is just ignored. Number 1, having no record of the observable decision chain. Number 2, no record of which systems were actually touched by the agent. And number 3, absolutely no record of human involvement. Listen, if a business cannot reconstruct what an agent did across these 3 specific steps, it can't contain the mistake, it can't correct the data, and it absolutely cannot explain what happened to a customer, a regulator, or a board of directors when they inevitably come knocking. Let's actually dive a bit deeper into that first failure, the missing decision chain. Agentic decisions almost never reduce down to just one simple rule that you can point your finger at, right? An action emerges from model output, prompt context, tool selection logic, all these complex intermediate steps. Now, you don't necessarily need to capture the AI model's deeply private internal reasoning, but what the business absolutely must have is a solid record of the operational chain. You have to log the initiating request, the relevant context that was provided, the specific policy or configuration that was in force at that exact second, and of course the tool calls that actually produced the outcome. Okay, moving to the second failure, not knowing which systems were touched. Just imagine an agent goes in and updates a CRM record, sends an email, and then triggers a billing change. That should leave a crystal clear trail across all 3 of those systems. But without that trail, this brilliant cutting-edge technology actually sets you backward. Reconstructing the full extent of just one single mistake takes hours and hours of slow, uncertain, manual investigation. And that's assuming you can even find it at all. That delay essentially becomes part of the damage itself. You're forced into this incredibly slow, manual response to a lightning-fast automated action. It's a nightmare. And then there's the third failure, missing human context. Whenever an agent acts, we've got to record the human involvement. If an action required an approval, we need to know exactly who approved it, exactly when they did it, and on what basis. Or actually, let's say the action completely bypassed human approval. Well, then the business needs a concrete record showing that bypassing it was a deliberate design decision, not just some glaring oversight that someone only discovers after the whole thing goes completely off the rails. Section 4. Designing Traceable Autonomous Systems. We know the risks, we know the failures, so let's shift gears and define exactly what good actually looks like when you're building a manageable business asset.
A properly governed system records 6 really crucial components. You need the initiating request, which is the trigger, and the data sources used, with all your privacy controls applied, of course. You also need to log the exact policy in force, the systems touched, any human approval or oversight, and, this is a big one, a clearly defined remediation path for when things can't simply be undone. And I really want to emphasize something here. Recording these 6 items isn't just some annoying extra compliance overhead that you bolt on at the very end of a project. In practice, these elements are exactly what turns an autonomous system from an unpredictable liability into something a business leader can actually manage. It's what allows you to reconstruct events quickly and with total confidence.
Section 5. The Omnisenti Workflow Solution. So, the million-dollar question, how do we actually implement this observable decision chain into our real, daily operations without completely grinding our development to a halt? Well, this is where a structured partner like Omnisenti comes into play. Omnisenti designs this exact traceability natively right into the agent workflow from day one. They build in the approval logic, the escalation paths, and that vital human accountability from the very start. And the best part is, they aren't trying to take over your entire IT infrastructure. Instead, they work directly with your existing technical teams and client systems to make sure that the right events and actions are actually being logged across your very specific, complex operating environment. It's a real game changer. Which brings us to this profoundly simple rule that just beautifully closes the loop on autonomous governance. Here it is. Permission defines the boundary. Traceability proves what happened. Setting permissions is exactly how you decide what an agent is allowed to do. But traceability is the undeniable proof of what it actually did. And I promise you, neither of these is optional once an AI agent starts making decisions that have real, executing operational consequences inside your business. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this absolutely critical operational question to think about for your own architecture. If your agent made a mistake right now, literally this very minute, could you reconstruct exactly what happened? Because if the answer is no, or honestly, even if you're just kind of unsure, it is time to fix that invisible gap. So I invite you to reply trace to start the conversation and begin building a genuinely traceable, manageable, autonomous future. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time.